trying to get me not to lean this way, that way. We've got some terrific guests for you tonight. Some of my mates here for the first time too that you're going to meet. And we're going to be chatting about Ethiopia. They just planted 350 million trees. And what have we done for global warming? My 21-year-old son is fast becoming a dickhead, a dad writes. Why? Because he's not doing anything. And the final issue we're going to be talking about tonight is Australia's constitutional recognition for our indigenous. What's the hold-up? We'll see what our panellists have got to say. Don't go away. Sweet and Sour starting right now. Grab your coffee.
Got a problem, big or small, would a miracle be nice? Our motley crew is back, churning out advice. You might even laugh a bit in the following half hour. Park your backside on the couch, cause baby it's time for Sweet and Sour. Right here on Sweet and Sour. It's time for Sweet and Sour. It's time for Sweet and Sour.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Sweet and Sour. Lovely to have your company. Who's on our panel tonight? They're all mates here tonight, even the newbies who you haven't met before. You'll like them, I think. First up, you haven't been here for ages, Vincenzo. Welcome back to the panel, sir.
Thank you for having me back.
Oh, it's terrific.
I waited and I waited and I waited.
I can't tell you that I actually lost that phone. And Trevor's kept telling me, you know, there's a lot of people you haven't had before. Didn't want to tell him that I'd lost that phone. And I thought, Vince! So welcome back, sir.
Thank you very much. I've been keeping busy, getting slightly older.
Well, same for all of us, really, isn't it?
But
how's your beautiful Anne?
Anne is wonderful. The grandkids are growing. The football team's doing well, and life is good.
Oh, well done, sir. Great to have you back here. Speaking of doing well, you're even doing better than well, aren't you? Goodness me.
Depends on your definition of well.
So we've got a little bucket down here just in case you...
Well, thank you very much.
Yeah, so when is the little event due?
So my second child is due in January.
Oh, Candice,
so I've got
that's
a boy
amazing.
And now I've got a girl coming, so I'm done after this.
How many years have you been doing Sweet and Sour?
12?
I reckon it might be more than that. 12?
I'm pretty sure it's 12.
12?
Oh, yeah.
Well, we did a swimming pool episode.
We did. So
when
maybe,
was that?
Oh.
That's more than 12.
Yeah, I think maybe 13.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
We'll still be going and your kids will be on the panel.
You're not getting in a swimming pool with my girl.
My good mate joins us tonight for the first time. Hello, Elaine.
Hello, Gary.
Oh, lovely to have you here for the first time.
Thank you for having me.
Very well qualified to sit on the panel.
Really?
Mum, grandmother?
Oh, yes. Chief cook and bottle washer, and I used to fill in my immigration forms with my husband's wife, but I can't do that anymore.
Oh, that's right. Boy, God, you do have a lot of life experience, don't you? Lovely to have you here.
Thank you very much.
Okay, I hope we want to invite you back by the end of the show.
Depends how much you pay me.
Yeah, yes. Okay, Josh, how much do we need to pay you? Legal fees.
Yes, every 6 minutes.
Our resident lawyer on the panel. Welcome, sir, for the first time as well.
Thanks for having me.
Every 6 minutes, isn't it terrible? How's my mate John? Is he doing all right?
Yeah, he's just got back from Paris.
That's John Hammond, who's a regular on the show.
Holiday to come on the panel.
He's relaxing after his holiday.
Relaxing after
How's
his
his foot? He buggered his foot not so long ago.
Bit of a limp, but he's doing okay.
He's all right? Okay. Here we go. First letter. You ready?
Yes.
This side of the team? Okay, here we go. Dear panellists, Ethiopia just planted over 350 million trees in an effort to help in the war against global warming. Ethiopia hasn't actually contributed to the problem, being a third world developing nation, but it's taking a clever stand. Australia loves to do nothing and argues that we're such a small contributor that there isn't much we can do. Much of that attitude is driven by politicians who seem to push a profit mentality on behalf of some sponsoring corporations rather than peddling a humanity-based ethos. But the reality, in stark terms, is that we Aussies are simply a bunch of spoiled brats who have nothing other than a superficial understanding of climate change and are happy to be deluded by the culture of me, me, me. It's our fault. I even see most walking past obvious plastic rubbish on the ground and never for a moment having a second thought that this discard will finish up on their own dinner plates through the biosphere food chain. How is it that Australians who enjoy vastly superior educational levels and opportunities over Ethiopians can be so dumb about our future and let politicians and corporations get away with planetary murder? What will it take to motivate us? And it comes to us from Ali of Norwood in South Australia. Candice, 350 million trees, how do we beat that?
I don't think we do. And I have, I've been a journalist for a long time, right? One of the first things that we're taught as a journalist is to think critically and to think who benefits from making such a statement. So while I absolutely agree with Ali that things need to be done about climate change without question, that is like the scientific consensus, what I haven't seen is decent evidence that this 350 million trees actually happened.
Ooh.
I haven't seen it from any credible source other than the Ethiopian government.
Statements.
PR stunt is what I'm thinking it is. And when you dig a little deeper, and to be fair, I have not done a lot of research into Ethiopian politics ever, but certainly not recently. Things are tenuous there at the moment politically. I think they possibly may have cause to want to show the world the best of themselves right now.
They're wanting to get in some money.
Right, so while I definitely, other than like take Ethiopia out of this question and say absolutely, I think that yes, climate change, we need to do more. Australia needs to do more, but I'm suspicious.
Vincenzo.
I like a suspicious mind.
Elvis did a good rendition too.
If we leave Ethiopia out of it, I think it's a good idea. I think as Australians we are spoiled. I think it would be nice if we woke up and started realising that the greatest resource we have is our young people, and our young people should be given the benefits to be able to go ahead and solve these problems from a very young age. Sometimes we wait until they're mature and qualified before we listen to them. But how nice would it be if the problem is opened up for them to realise how much can be done, not just at high school, at primary school, even at kindergarten. Teach them to plant a tree. We've got some amazing space all over Australia, and maybe we can allow the odd farmer to knock down the odd tree if we're planting them elsewhere.
Josh.
I'll do my best, Vince, being the youngest member of the panel. See what I can do. Well, if you're worried about planting, go plant some trees. So you can just go out there.
Go plant some trees.
There are companies in WA and in South Australia that are out there planting lots of trees. I know 1 trillion trees. I saw on their website they planted 21,000 last year.
A bit short of a trillion.
Bit short of a trillion, but they're on their way. They're on their way.
Anything's good.
And there's, like you were saying, there's real evidence of that, as opposed to perhaps Ethiopia don't have real evidence of that.
It's a good suggestion, isn't it? If you're worried about it, go and do it.
Yeah.
You can set the example. Yeah. Elaine, what are you doing for climate change?
Well, 30,000 Australians have signed up for Earth Hour, so she's not really alone in worrying about the...
30,000 isn't much though, is it?
30,000 Australians?
30,000 Australians out of 25 million.
However, if you go and check, if you Google around, there's all these websites. There's climatecouncil.org and greenpeace.org, nature.org. There's a pie chart on one of them that shows you exactly what Australia has done. It's very easy to blame.
Are we doing a lot?
Yes, we are.
Oh, nice to hear.
We're actually on track for 2050. We're achieving something about renewable energy by 2035, and we're about 50. We're doing about 50%.
Is that enough?
You betcha it is. Look, hang on. Everything we can't do 100% of everything of every goal that we set, right?
Oh.
Because we can't.
They're goals.
They're goals.
Why do we set
aim at the, but we
false
aim.
goals?
No, we aim at the goals, and we hope to hell that we reach most of them. But if we keep saying, oh no, we haven't done this, we haven't done that, we haven't done enough. Yes, we are doing enough. We're doing our best.
Actually,
go and look at all these websites. They're fantastic.
The psychology is good because you keep going. They're the goals. They're the aspirational points.
Keep going.
Rather than going, we're not doing enough. We're not going to do anything.
Look, there's no easy answers, but we just have to keep plugging away, and there's enough places to go and look at to check and see what we are doing. And we're doing really well.
We asked you people at home to answer this question for us. Are Australians doing enough regarding climate change? And here's what you said. Flashed up there, only 7% of people said we're doing enough.
Terrific.
People don't agree with you, Elaine. We're not doing enough.
I don't care.
And 93% of you are most definitely looking for other things to do, we'd hope. When we come back, we're going to be talking about how you get a young bloke on the right path. His dad writes in and thinks he's a dickhead because he's dropped out of everything. When we come back, sweet and sour, don't go away. More of the panel after the break.
It's time for sweet and sour. It's time for sweet and sour.
Oh, have you noticed?
I have.
Ah, you don't know what we're talking about, but if you'd like to send us a letter and have it discussed by the panellists, send it to one of these 5 social media contact points and it'll land here. And every letter that we really like and we think it'll be a good chat on the show, we will do it and send you to the movies, courtesy of Natalie Cameron.
What a legend.
Of NRC Communication. I'm looking for the name of the movie and I have it right in front of me. It is, what is it?
Danger Close.
Danger
And it's
close.
Battle of Longtown.
There it is.
Danger close.
Danger Close.
Danger close.
Everybody else seems to know what the movie is. Thank you, Natalie Cameron.
You know the name.
Here we go. Hello there. Look, my 21-year-old son is fast becoming a dickhead and I don't know what to do here. This is from Clarey, a fellow from Templestowe in Victoria. He's had 6 months to go before he finishes a 3-year course in film and TV production, and he's decided that's not what he wants to do. So he just pulled the plug. He wants to do another course instead, which is broadcast specific, and that's for another 2 years, but he doesn't start for another 7 months. In the meantime, he's in his room here at home playing computer games and smoking dope. All of his friends from school are working or studying in their own fields, but I think my son is just a lost soul making bad decisions. He's a great looking lad who's had some lovely girlfriends but hasn't gone near a girl since he quit his part-time job at a pub about a year ago. He's going out a little at nights with his mates and just spending the money he had saved to buy a car, which will soon all be gone. Do I just wait for him to come good? He doesn't talk much to his mum or me. He doesn't pay board and his mum is too scared to open her mouth. I'm at my wit's end here. What to do? What are we going to say to Clarey, Josh?
I was looking forward to this question
Oh.
because it's not a race. He's 21, it's not a race to the end. He doesn't need to know what he's doing yet. Give him some time, give him some space, prod him along, nudge him along, and smoking dope in his room alone aside, I think. He just needs to maybe start paying board, get a job if you can push him that way, but he needs to have time to figure out what he wants to do.
Pay board, get a job,
Give him
and
some
he's
space.
only 21.
Give him some space. It's not a race.
Elaine?
Who's paying for his dope? If he can afford to pay for dope, he can afford to pay board. What you do is this. You put a lock on the fridge, he's got to pay for everything he eats. You rip
Hard
his...
love.
Tough love. This chap in America took his son's door off the bedroom, took the bedroom door off, and every time he smelt pot smoke or any sort of smoke, he went in and threw a bucket of water on him. Now, somebody...
My dad used to do that to me.
But
Only to get me out of bed in the morning.
However, there's no easy solution to this, and it doesn't mean that the next course he starts, he will stick to it. Obviously, there's something seriously wrong, but he has to pay his way.
Life is like that.
Well, he's using their electricity for his computer games and what have you. No, he's got to pay for all those privileges. Look, he's privileged to be in their home. Okay, he's a visitor there. They invited him in because they wanted to have children. He's got to earn his place there.
That's an interesting perspective. They invited him in because they wanted to have
did.
kids. Ooh, tough
Unless he was a
love.
surprise.
Very tough love.
Oh, Candice.
I'm going to take a little bit of a different approach here.
Good.
And I don't disagree.
You think this is a hoax?
No, I don't think this is a hoax. I am seeing a few red flags here for depression.
Oh.
I think that mum and dad need to maybe jump on like a Beyond Blue website or a Headspace or something like that and just maybe read a bit up about depression and young folks and how it manifests. The dope could be a self-medication. I could be completely wrong. But before taking any action, I would do a little bit of research into that and see whether he could be a candidate for being a bit depressed or anxious. No education is ever wasted. I'm someone who chopped and changed between courses a bunch before I found out what I did. Then I ended up changing careers anyway. But
As you do.
at that age in my life when I was chopping and changing, I was depressed.
Well done. Vincenzo?
Mate, this one touches the heart. There's just no way in the world that we fought world wars so our kids can choose what they want to do. Our kids can relax. And here, for me, I see the red flags. I was so excited to see Candice talking about that. You as parents, get onto Lifeline, 13, 11, 14, and ask for help. Talk to them about what's going on, so then you can sit your young fella down and ask him how you can help with his future. Don't rush him. Well said. Let's look after him.
Well done.
Well done.
We asked you at home to answer this question for us. Is it harder to be a young person today than it was a generation ago? Here's what you said. 68% of people said yes, it is. It's harder to be a young person today. I tend to think that that's on the money.
Except for the World Wars part. Yeah. That was really tough.
It's tough for everybody, wasn't it?
It really was.
When we come back, we're going to be talking about constitutional recognition. Don't go away. Who for? Well, you know that answer, don't you? Don't go away. Sweet and Sour coming up now. Welcome back to Sweet and Sour. Dear Mitch, why are some Australians against constitutional recognition of our Indigenous people? I'd love there to be a statement in our Constitution recognising the first peoples of this land. I'd love to celebrate our coming together and the continuing progress we're making in nation and community building. It seems almost hateful that someone wouldn't want that. We've made so much progress everywhere in the world in acknowledging the equality of humanity regardless of ethnic origins, and here we have the opportunity to come together and celebrate ourselves and our first peoples, but instead we have to argue about concocted notions of who's getting more, maybe. I come from a migrant family from Spain who never understood why this has been the case here. Australia only has one grouping of unique Indigenous cultures that we can all share. Is it that we have to wait for the old prejudices to die with those who still hold them? I want the Australian Constitution to acknowledge our first Aussies for all time. What will it take? And please don't confuse this with that silly notion of creating a separate parliamentary chamber based on race. We're beyond creating divisions. We need to come together. Marie of Maroubra in New South Wales, and I love how Marie actually separated those issues there too about an embracing constitutional recognition and about the other conversation about, you know, distracting chambers and recreating our parliament. Vincenzo.
Marie, you're wonderful. Very close to my heart. I believe they should be recognised.
Of course.
I believe they need to do a lot of work in getting the schools to tell the stories that need to be told.
Yes.
Because we are only liberated by the truth. And it's interesting that you come from Spain with the Spanish Inquisition doing such horrible things, yet it's part of your history. Well, our history needs to be spoken about and shared because we haven't done the best by our Indigenous friends.
You know, there's an interesting story about Spain as well. The King of Spain, Philip II, had a whole lot of Moors left over in his kingdom. And he called over his Grand Vizier and said, what do we do about this? And he said, you do nothing. Absolutely nothing. And of course, they became a natural part of the kingdom. Sorry, Candice.
No, I'm loving it and completely
500 years ago.
Yeah, well, there you go. I'm very on the same boat as Vince. I don't see how recognising our first peoples in our constitution hurts anybody, and if it helps and continues to allow us to heal, then I don't see the harm. I haven't heard one decent argument against it. I can see where people say, look, we've got more important things on the agenda, but you know what, if we're spending half of parliamentary time doing Dorothy Dix's and congratulating each other for things that happen, then we can make time to discuss this in the parliament and make that happen.
You know, one of the things for me is that if you cast the calendar forward several generations, every single one of our kids will have some Aboriginality in their blood.
I hope so.
This is us. This is a coming together.
You
So
know,
why shouldn't we recognise
In the wedding ceremonies I do a lot of weddings, as you know. The vast majority included acknowledgement of country now at the couple's request.
Well done. We asked you at home, before we asked Elaine and Josh, are you in favour of constitutional recognition for Indigenous Australia? Here's what you said. 85% said yes. I'd like to know where 15% came from and what their thinking is.
Tell us your reasons.
Well, really, do we want to hear that? Yeah, I
think it's
suppose we do. We
important
want to
to hear.
take everybody. Okay.
hear.
All right, Elaine, what's your view?
I want an Aboriginal national anthem. New Zealand has two national anthems. They have God Save the Queen and they have a thing called Aotearoa.
Aotearoa.
That's the one.
You clever woman.
I listened to it today and it's absolutely magic. Now, I went to school in Pinjarra and we had Aboriginal kids. I believe that there should be separate classes for Aboriginal kids. Everyone's going to rip my head off, but we've got private schools, we've got Catholic schools, we've got schools for Muslim kids, we've got schools for Jewish kids. Why can't we have an Aboriginal college?
But what was the purpose of it?
Because I want them to be able to sit and learn with their peers, with their culture. All right, alternatively,
hang on.
how about we teach it in
Why
school?
would it be only open to our Indigenous kids? Why couldn't everybody who wanted to learn?
That's my next point.
Okay.
Why don't we then... So alternatively, teach it in schools. And instead of teaching us the recorder, give us a chance to learn to play the didgeridoo.
Oh, smart. I'd do that. I have a didgeridoo sitting at home. But I've never... I've got some instructions, but I've never learned to play.
But there are several... Look, there are so many well-known Aboriginals that we don't know. In 2003, there was an Aboriginal lady whose painting sold for $473,000. And then a couple of years later, another painting sold by a man for $474,000.
Wow.
Now, and there's Chiliungu, and there's Namatjira. There's all these brilliant people that we don't know about.
And we should.
And there's also a place called...
Put them in the Constitution.
There's a place called Barramail, which is a world-class startup accelerator program for Indigenous entrepreneurs. There's heaps happening, it's just that we're not tapping into it.
Let's get a legal perspective. All right, Josh, doesn't have to be a legal perspective.
What will it take? I suppose from the legal perspective, it'll take a referendum.
Yeah.
And I'm all for it. I'm all for constitutional recognition. The only criticism that I've found from looking into this matter is referendums are expensive.
Yes.
There's Indigenous people
what price
alike,
democracy?
but there are Indigenous and non-Indigenous people alike saying that money could be better spent in disadvantaged communities
Oh, well, that's true.
to help people who need it.
Well, we don't
But I'm all
necessarily have
for
to have...
constitutional recognition, but it's a shame that it's going to be so costly.
Well, it doesn't have to be, does it? Because we have a culture in this land where we don't do referenda at the time of elections. Well, if we did, it'd save a hell of a lot of money, wouldn't
Much
it?
cheaper.
Much cheaper.
Another big piece of paper, this one ticking off all these things.
We are. See, we've got it all sorted.
Climate change.
Climate change. All right. Now, if you're not sure about this one, we're going to ask the panellists to raise their right hand. That's this one.
Yes.
All those in favour of constitutional recognition. This is a visual for you. Raise your right hand, please. Every single person on this panel. And whilst your hand's up, start waving because we've got to go. Do you like that one? All right. It's terrific. Thank you for watching tonight. Vincenzo, thank you for being with us after so long. I promise I won't do that again.
Pleasure.
It always is great to have you on the show.
I'll be fatter next time you see me.
Okay, I was going to say, can we ask you between now and the time it's
You're
due?
better before I have another baby.
All right, we shall do that. Nice to have you. Thank you for
I'll be
being
out
here.
of action for a bit.
Did you enjoy your first time on the panel?
I loved it. It was a great experience.
Would you like to come back?
I would love to come back. How much?
The same as today.
Done.
Josh, what about you, sir? Did you enjoy your time on the panel?
Loved it. It was fantastic.
What are you going to say to John O tomorrow?
He's lost a job.
He's lost a job. He's lost a
not
job.
invited back.
We're going to have him on the show in 2 weeks' term. That's John Hammond, our
I'll
legal
get my
and job.
agent to contact you. Our people will
And my
talk.
agent will get and
Our people will talk.
thank all of our wonderful panellists. Thank our terrific crew. And as I said, thanks for having us at home tonight, Australia.
you.
Good night, everyone. Oh, the hands are back up, are they?
Yeah.
Oh,
We just got the message. Wave.
I think that was it for me or was it doesn't matter? Good night, everyone.